can I take your order?
Hi there, can I have a double cheeseburger,
Yeah,
some large fries,
yeah,
and 2 large vanilla milkshakes, please?
yeah.
That's all, thanks.
If your order's correct on the screen, it's just a first window, thanks.
Okay. Sorry, did you want anything, Alex? Yeah, no bother, why I? Yeah, thank you, buddy. Hello, me buddy Bens, and welcome to episode 10 of the Superhero Dog Owners Show. This week I'm joined by my good friend Alex the Video Guy.
Hello.
And also this is Sydney Cocker. Yeah, we saw Rosie a couple of weeks ago. This is Sydney. Sydney's my dog. Sydney, aka John Bon Jovi. And Sydney is joining me today because we're going to go and do an interview today. Yeah, we're going to go and see a good dog training friend of mine called Sue McCabe, and Sue runs Mutamorphosis dog training in Newcastle, and it was at Mutamorphosis dog training puppy foundation class where I took Sydney when I first got him 4 years ago, Alex. There's a little bit of information for you, so this all ties in nicely. So Sydney went there with me, and this follows on really nicely from last week's episode where we were talking about socialization and what I think socialization is, because at Sue's puppy class we did all of the things that I think people should be doing in puppy class, which is about getting the owner more the dog more interested in the owner, and the puppies aren't just arsing around on the floor and having a great time, and that's the only thing that they're going to remember from the class. So Sue did a fantastic class, and I think people will learn a lot from the interview that we did this week when we went over to see her. So Alex, roll the tape. I'm delighted to have you on as a guest in the show, Sue. So, welcome.
Thank you very much, Tom.
No problem. Sue comes from Wicklow in
Southern Ireland.
And she runs a dog training school in Newcastle called Mutamorphosis. You've been running that for about 10 years, Sue?
10 years, yeah.
And I know how good Sue is as a dog trainer because I actually attended one of her puppy classes with my own puppy, Sydney, a few years ago as well, and it was fantastic. We're going to get straight in with the greyhound round. Yeah, this is a quick fire round for anybody who doesn't know you.
Okay.
So we can find out a little bit more about you. All right. So, what's your favourite animal other than a dog?
Cat.
That was a quick answer. I didn't even finish the question. Favourite superhero?
Oh God, this was one of the ones I struggled with. Gosh, I don't. I have no idea.
You're going to fail on that one. That's
Yeah,
no
I
problem.
failed on that one already.
Easier one. Can
Yeah.
we have your favourite dog cartoon character?
Oh, Scrappy Doo.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Puppy
I
power.
liked his attitude. Yeah. Yeah. Scooby was a bit tame for me.
And do you prefer Italian or Chinese food?
Italian.
Good choice. So would you prefer to walk a Pomeranian in the park or a bulldog at the beach?
Can I walk a palm at the beach?
No. Choice is very strict.
Beach over park then.
Beach then, yeah. So you're choosing location over the dog then, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Parks.
good.
Yeah. Parks would restrain me too much, and I'd have to be calling the dogs back too often.
Yeah, we like the beach as well.
Beach is better for everyone, I think.
All right, good answers, Sue. Good answers. So we like to. Obviously, we have a lot of pet dog owners who watch the show, and that's who it's aimed at. And sometimes it's hard when you're a pet dog owner, and it's hard when you're a trainer as well. It's not all butterflies and puppy smells and stuff. So can you, just to show people how hard it is as a dog trainer, can you share with us one of your worst experiences that you've had as a dog trainer?
Can you see him in the background with his ball?
Yes.
So when he was about 14 weeks old, we were in Gosforth Park, and I was feeling very smug because he was a very easy puppy. He was really not a particularly challenging boy at all as a youngster. But it was during the summer holidays, and there was a toddler's football match on. So I was sitting, it was a lovely day like this, I was sitting with my coffee and my handbag and my little puppy who I was madly in love with, and suddenly he took off across the park and joined in this toddler football game, picked up the football and ran off with it, and all these little toddlers were running after him. And because I was more worried about what my dog was doing, I remember just throwing my coffee on the ground and leaving my handbag with my car keys, my wallet and everything in it, and just racing across the park and apologising to everybody. Anyone could have nicked my bag, but thankfully they didn't, and we got him back. You can see he still loves his football to this day. 5 years later,
that's not the same ball, is it?
It's not the same ball. We gave the ball back.
A good story. No, that's a really good story. We all do that and fall into that kind of mistake, don't we, with the puppies, where we get too relaxed and
they lull us into this wonderful false sense of security.
And then they do something puppyish.
Yeah, which they should. That's part of being a puppy, isn't it? Yeah.
So before you were Sue the dog trainer and you were just Sue growing up in Ireland, what was it that was there a person or was there an experience that you had that sort of inspired you to want to work with animals and dogs particularly?
I never had animals as a child. Well, I
Right.
had a cat. I remember there was a family meeting about a cat. You think we were bringing a crocodile into the house. It was such a serious decision to make, as it should be, but I do remember that. I was never allowed to have a dog. But I spent a lot of time on my uncle's farm and he always had dogs. And he has a very gentle demeanour with his animals. He's a cattle farmer, and I guess you kind of have to be reasonably quiet and composed. But before people spoke about positive reinforcement or reward-based training, he used to bring the cattle in with buckets of nuts and shake the buckets of nuts. And I just thought it was the way to do things at the time. And I know not everybody does it that way, but yeah, I think the farm was a big influence, particularly the way he managed his animals. They all adored him. All his dogs worshipped him completely. You know?
I would find that quite inspiring as well, I think, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given in your life, dog related or anything else?
I was thinking about this, and the same person gave me the two things that sprung to mind when you asked me this question. It's to do with working a dog rather than pet dog training, but I think it's probably still reasonably relevant in dog training terms. And the first is that if your dog looks like they're working out something, don't interrupt them. So if my dog is performing a job reasonably well, rather than chattering away to them and redirecting them and constantly telling them this, that and the other, shush. And that's hard for me because I'm a bit of a chatterbox, but that was a really good piece of advice. In other words, give your dog the opportunity to work stuff out, as long as they're not getting themselves into trouble while they're working it out, obviously. So the second piece of advice that this same lady gave me, I'll tell you her name in a second because she's still around. She'd probably be surprised I still remember her words of wisdom all these years later. The second piece of advice was, if you start using a method and it seems to be working, don't keep chopping and changing because it confuses the dog. It's really unfair on them, and it means you never break through the stage where they no longer do the thing because you've swapped and changed your method so often. Again, as long as your method isn't dangerous or horrible and the dog isn't miserable. But I thought that was really important. A lot of clients I see, by the time I see them, they'll say, well, we tried this and we tried this and we tried that and we tried this and we tried, and nothing seemed to work. And actually they haven't tried anything long enough for it to work, or consistently enough for it to work. So I thought that was really quite a good one as well.
Yeah, I think that's excellent advice. That I can see how that would apply to, how you learn to do anything really, wouldn't it? You know, or how you run a business, or how you do anything. You've got to give these things.
Give it a chance.
Yeah, give it a go. The first bit of advice as well about letting the dog work something out. I'm guilty of that as well. You kind of. You're trying to help, I suppose, aren't you? But you're best off just shutting up and just observing. And
we are. I think there's an element of trying to help. There's also an element of if you know what the finished product is, it's very easy to rush the dog to the finished product, and I'm guilty of that. This is what I want you to be doing. This is the way I want it to look. And actually, there's a brilliant concept in dog training, and I guess in human training as well, called latent learning, which is, if you show this has happened to me quite a lot of times, you show your dog something new and you think, are they getting it? I'm not sure if they're getting it. And then you leave it there and you go away, and the next time you come back to it, the dog goes, oh yeah, I remember this. And you think, wow, they did get it. But I was trying to rush them so much the first time to the finished product that I didn't give them the chance to go away and mentally break it down and mentally let it settle in. And
and again, I can think of it, instances in my life where that sort of latent learning is proved beneficial, when you've learned something but you haven't quite understood it maybe, but then a couple of days later you've got it, haven't you?
Absolutely.
And dogs are really similar.
Absolutely.
So as I already said, you run Metamorphosis in Newcastle, and tell us a little bit about some of the classes that you do there.
I do baby puppy class, so from just after vaccinations.
Yeah.
I do the Kennel Club Good Citizen Award right up to gold level. And I also do behaviour work during the day. So my private cases would be during the day. So
Yeah.
classes are in the evening and on Saturdays, and my private cases would be during the day.
Right, cool. And you book up fast, I know, because I tried to get on the first puppy one, but I couldn't, so I had to go on the next one. And this was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But so you behaviour work during the day, where you're obviously going to see a range of different dog owners and a range of different dogs with different kind of problems. What are some of the most common things that you would say you come across with pet dog owners?
I think the most common one, sadly, now is dog-to-dog aggression. No question about that. That tops my books over anything else. I'd much rather be dealing with other stuff, but it sadly is one of the more common problems. After that is recall. Plain old simple, I can't get my dog back in the park.
Yeah.
And third on the list is probably possessive aggression, which would be resource guarding is the behavioural term. In other words, the dog saying, get away from my, and then you can fill in the blank with anything from bone to tail to bed to
owner.
human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything, yeah. And so let's take the first one then. Let's take dog-to-dog aggression. Obviously, I'm always a bit wary about, I would always recommend anybody, if they're even the slightest bit worried about the safety of themselves or of any of the kids or the general public, and they should see a behaviourist. They shouldn't really try and get aggression advice from a book or something. Do you know what I mean? It's just too risky, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what is there some things that people can do if they recognise that their dog may have an aggression issue? Is there some really simple things that they can do?
I don't think there's ever a simple answer where aggression is concerned, because it's just so complex and there's so many different forms of aggression. I think more importantly, if I could direct owners to recognise how not to put the ingredients for the recipe together in the first place, if that's okay. I think the reason, and I'm not the first person to say this, I think you and I, Dom, have talked about the fact that there isn't really anything original in dog training, but I certainly would agree with the concept that the reason there's a huge increase in dog-to-dog aggression is because people tend to take the word socialization as meaning a free-for-all.
Yeah.
And they've become so obsessed with their dogs having doggy buddies that they don't recognize that as they're raising their dog with lots of play dates and lots of dog interaction and unbridled, uncontrolled playing, and particularly rough physical play, the two camps that dogs fall into, not every dog, because there are some dogs who can do all of that and it never causes a problem. But the two camps that behaviour problem dogs would fall into would be either learning to be a bully or learning to be bullied. And both of those camps will lean towards dog aggression as they get older, or could lean towards dog aggression as they get older. Owners want their dogs to be little humans, and they love the idea of daycare and play dates and
social life.
And actually, it's great to socialise your dog, but socialising your dog does not mean that your dog runs across the park to greet every single dog he sees. Your child doesn't do that with every strange child they see. So it's a little bit strange that people have become that way inclined. And I do think it's contributing definitely towards the dog aggression rate.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. And we talk about that a lot on the show all the time. If you can be your dog's best friend, then your life's just going to be so much easier, isn't it? You're going to be able to give your dog so much more freedom. And yeah, that's been a common theme as well that I've, from talking to other behaviourists all around the world, especially in the UK.
The other thing to say, of course, is that if your dog has 3 or 4 dog buddies that they get on with, I mean, I often get calls from people saying, well, he has 3 or 4 dogs that he knows and he's fine with, but he doesn't like other dogs. You know what? That's fine. He doesn't need other dogs. And if you've got a dog who is genuinely dog aggressive, yes, it's very debilitating. And yes, it makes your walks and the dog's walks more difficult. But simply staying away from other dogs will make your life and the other dog's life much easier. And he never needs to meet another dog as long as he lives. He'd probably, if you put a microphone on the dog, he'd probably say, stop trying to get me to say hello to dogs.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's fine too. That's fine too.
Yeah. And the dog's going to be happy, the owner's going to be happy, they're going to be able to enjoy the time with their dog.
The only difficult thing where that one is concerned, and I would give quite a few of my clients credit in this front, is that they're doing a really brilliant job of keeping their dog on leash and under control, and other people are allowing their dogs to run up to their dog reactive dog, which of course is incredibly unfair. Incredibly unfair.
Yeah, definitely. So following up with that, Sue, if people so someone's recognising that their dog has maybe it's not an aggression issue, but they've got an issue where the dog's getting stressed out, or he's clearly not comfortable around other dogs. what, you know, and they want to stay away from other dogs, but they still want to, obviously the dog still needs to get some exercise, doesn't he, and
Sure.
some stuff. What would be some simple things that they could do with their dogs to interact with them?
The first thing that I would recommend is, we're all creatures of habit. Dogs are and humans are, and a lot of humans do the same walks every single day.
Yeah.
More often than not, they leave the house, they walk somewhere, and they walk back to the house. If you have, as I said, aggression is complex, but if there is an inkling that your dog's dog reactivity is because of territory, every day you leave the house, go for a walk and come back to the house, you're patrolling with your dog. From the dog's perspective, you're saying, this is our territory, now patrol. So one piece of advice that I give people is, as much as possible, change your walk. As much as possible, get into the car, drive somewhere they've never been before. I appreciate that's tough with working lives, but do it more than you think you need to.
You're going to enjoy the walk a lot more.
You'll enjoy
aren't you?
your walk a lot more. If that can be somewhere where you're only going to see dogs at a distance, even better. Even better. The thing to do with the thing not to do with a dog reactive dog is take them to Tynemouth Beach and where there's dogs everywhere and hope that they're going to be better by being surrounded by the things that they're worried about or scared of. Another really simple thing, if it's possible to do it, is to sit somewhere with your dog where they're going to see dogs at a distance. Now, every dog has a threshold that's slightly different. Some dogs cope with dogs nearer and some dogs cope with them
So they should start
further away.
quite far away, obviously.
Be really conservative. Start really far away. And even if it's the boot of your car and your dog is watching with the boot up as dogs pass through the park, every single time a dog turns up, the ATM machine from your pocket should spew out really high value treats. And no matter how many times I say high value treats, people still think that means packet dog treats. It doesn't.
No.
It means sell your granny kind of food. Roast chicken, to be honest, mostly meat. I mean, chocolate drops are not going to wash it with most dogs. Mostly meat. Roast chicken, steak, hot dog at a push, stinky stuff. But the delivery of the food is not contingent on your dog's behaviour, it's contingent on the arrival of the other dog. So while that dog is within view, the food keeps flowing and the bank closes. The bank of food closes when that dog goes out of sight. You can, believe it or not, counter condition your dog really quickly with that one, where your dog, instead of seeing other dogs and expecting bad things to happen, will start to say, there's a dog, where's the chicken? There's a dog over there, where's the chicken, Mum? And that's a really, really good thing.
And once you've got that eye contact, then you've got so much more control, haven't you?
You've broken your eye, you've broken the staring and the eyeballing, and absolutely, it's a super, super thing to do.
That's fantastic advice. I would highly recommend you rewind the podcast and write that down and try that with your dog. Yeah, that's brilliant. Thanks very much, Sue. So where can people go to find out more about you, Sue? More about what you do?
The dog training classes are at Denton Burn Community Centre on Slatyford Lane. That's the west end of Newcastle. Most of my private cases and behaviour cases would be within the dog's own environment. So if the problem is happening in your home, I would generally do it in your home. And if the problem is happening on a walk, then we would do the sessions during on the walk.
And you got a website or something as well?
Yes, I do. It's www.mutamorphosis.co.uk.
Brilliant. I'll put that in the show notes as well, so people can check that out.
Excellent.
So when you're not helping dog owners and running classes and having interviews with me, how does Sue McCabe like to chill out and relax?
I train my own dogs. I do working trials with my younger boy who's behind. It's a dog sport that's actually not very many people are into, which is sad because it's a wonderful dog sport. I suspect the reason it's not as popular is you actually have to do quite a bit of training with your dog. There's an element of agility, an element of nose work, and an element of obedience, which is why I like it, because you get all three. But it's not fast-paced, shall we say. And I think people do like fast-paced stuff. But if you want something that will train a smart dog to use up their mental energy, it's one of the best sports out there. Very outdoorsy, though, so if you don't like outdoor stuff, if you're not prepared to stand in a field for 6 hours, working trials is not the sport for you.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, thanks very much for your time today, Sue. I really appreciate it. I got a lot of value from it. I'm sure the people who are watching got a lot of value from it as well. And I look forward to come back again. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about puppies next time and what people can do to have a bit more success with their puppies. Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, Tom.
So thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
So how awesome was that? Yeah. Thank you to Sue for sharing all those dog training tips with us. I can only echo what Sue said in the interview, which was that You know, the most common problem that a lot of my dog training friends and what I deal with is dog reactivity. You know, dogs being too interested, too reactive to other dogs. And the best way that you can stop your dog from being like that is to be more interesting to the dog. Use something that the dog likes. Yeah, take it. Good boy. Like a tennis ball, or if your dog likes food, then use food. Or if he likes tuggy toys, use tuggy toys. But by using these things, then you're going to be able to have much more influence over your dog, and he's going to look to you like you're his own superhero. So, me and Alex the video guy and Sydney are leaving the drive-through now. We'll not tell you which one it is. Other drive-throughs are available. But we're off to do a bit more filming for our next project, which is the superhero dog owners in a circle. Next week I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about that, but it's going to be a fantastic resource for you to join a community, and it's specifically for pet dog owners to help them have more fun with their pet dogs. So if you enjoy the podcast, if you read my book and you enjoyed the book and you want to learn more about how you can become your dog's superhero, then tune in next week, because I'm going to be telling you all about it in the Superhero Dog Owners in a Circle. So that's a wrap from me, from Sydney and from Alex. Thanks again to Sue McCabe. We'll see you next week, and if we don't see you through the week, we'll see you through the window. Won't we, Sydney?